Hi everybody, my name is Jacob, and yes, I am a Disney adult. I had a season pass. I'm an annual pass holder. I purchased it May of 2023, and it is expiring at the end of this month in May. And I want to talk to you guys how I survived one full year of going to the parks once almost every single month for about 3 to 6 days each time with having gout. So here are my 5 ways that I survived. Number one thing that we definitely, me and my sister, we had the annual pass holders and we went to the parks together. We live in South Carolina. We drove down to Orlando. Now, number one thing that we definitely had to invest in is investing in stand-on property. And the reason why is because on property, not only do you have really great amenities, and you can definitely, bet on the Disney magic being there when you're staying there at a resort, but also we wanted to stay at a place that had really good transportation to and from the parks, to our hotel. So my number one places that I stayed at was the boardwalk because it was super close, literally a less than 10-minute walk to Epcot and probably a 15-minute walk to Hollywood Studios. But also you're within shot of a boat ride to any one of the parks there. You're also right next to the Skyliner. You're also like right next to so many different options. That is unbelievable. And also that place is just gorgeous. The boardwalk is my number one hotel. The second place that I love to stay at was Pop Century, mainly because it's one of the cheapest places to stay at on Disney property, but also on top of that, it has a Skyliner, and the Skyliner is so comfortable to, like it glides so easily, and it's so much fun, and there's barely any lines there, and it gets you to two amazing parks, and from those two amazing parks, you can get to all four parks easily. And then my third favorite park is probably the Grand Floridian. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But also it's within a boat ride to the Magic Kingdom. You can also get on the monorail. You can get on the bus. Number one thing that I hate is the bus when you have gout. It is super far. The bus stations are usually super far. They don't drop you off right at the park. And it's just a pain to go up and down the steps, all that stuff. And if there's a million people in the bus, you probably have to stand up, and going down the road, aka also the freeway, on the bus when you are standing and it's going 40 miles and you're turning, it's not comfortable. It is not comfortable. So I refuse to go on buses. But I love those three resorts. Those are my best things. But number one is just investing in a really good resort that has really good transportation. The second thing that that actually helped me survive Disney for the past year, whenever I went on the trips, is acknowledging that I have this. And not this, like, hey, but acknowledging that I have AP status holder. I can go there whenever I want, as long as I had money for the hotel. And also gas to drive 6 hours. But as long as I had those two things, I can go to the park as many times as I want, all four parks. The fact that I didn't have to cram everything into my experience was a major, major stress relief. If I missed a show over at Hollywood Studios, that's fine. I could just go back later that day or later in the week or the next day. It doesn't matter. Time is my precious commodity, and that is something that you buy into with an annual pass holder. So if you're asking how many times do you go to really maximize the cost of annual pass holder, I'm not going to answer that. There's so many Facebook groups that will answer that, but I won't. But what I will say is this. The moment that I found out that I don't have to stress about going to every single ride, every single attraction, every single resort and everything within one trip, it made my life so much easier, and my gout attacks were lessened because of the stress, less stress. Third thing that I want to talk about is basically what you want to pack. and this helped me survive Walt Disney World. And what I packed are a couple things, and it's really easy. You want to pack your medications, but not only do you want to pack your medications, if you're taking indomethacin, it's okay to take Tylenol with it. So I usually took my 300 milligrams of indomethacin, and then I would take 3 Tylenols, and then I would go to sleep. Try to go to sleep right after that. Don't try to, binge the whole entire night. Go to sleep as early as 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Get yourself well rested. Trust me, that will save you for your rest of your trip with gout. The second thing that I would bring is probably my heating pad that I can wrap around my arm, wrap around my knee, my elbow. I'll post a link in the description so that way you can see exactly where I bought it. But I bring that on every single trip, regardless if it's 100 degrees outside or if it's 60 degrees outside. Inside your hotel, it's going to be cold. And also, you just need that relief, trust me. And also, I would bring my crutches, whether I leave them in the car or bring them into the hotel. I try to bring my crutches because you never know if you might come out with a full-blown, horrible gout attack all over your body, or even just really bad in your ankle. The last thing that you want to do is spend $1 million over at your hotel, and you can't even walk, So, granted, you could definitely get EVs, electric vehicles, those electric stroller things. But, if it's in your ankle, you can easily just bring your crutches. But, crutches are going to be your main saver, especially just in the hotel. You don't have to bring them inside the parks if you don't need them. But I usually use them inside the hotel. I don't bring extra pillows or anything like that. You don't really need them with the hotels because they usually provide that really well. But my last thing that I would bring, which is a lot of people don't even think about this, but if you go to Target, they have a name brand, and it's a peel and stick. It's on this plastic, and you peel it and you put it on your wherever you have the gout attack. But basically, it's an off-brand version of Icy Hot, but it's thin and it has menthol. So I usually use those when I'm either inside the park or also when I'm driving home or when I'm in the back seat, going home. So fourth thing that I want to talk about is knowing where to eat within Walt Disney World and over at the resorts. I'm going to do another video where I talk about each resort, where to eat, and stuff that I would avoid, stuff that I would probably eat. But in this video, I want to talk about just a couple of places. So in Animal Kingdom, I love Satuli. Satuli and Pandora, they have these amazing bowls. And basically, you can eat that and then take your indomethacin right after. And also on top of that, it's an amazing atmosphere, and it's air conditioned, plenty of seating. Another place that I really love to eat, and this will probably be over at Epcot, is over at Via Napoli. We tried that for the very first time, my very last time that I went a couple months ago, and the pizza was huge. It filled me up for the whole entire day. Didn't need to eat again. And on top of that, it's enough to take with your pills. And I didn't have to pull off too many ingredients that actually cause gout attacks that were high in purines. There wasn't a lot of mushrooms or spinach or anything like that. So Via Napoli is an amazing place. It's mid-affordable, so it's not too expensive, but it definitely is more than a quick service. But I didn't have to worry about fried foods at that restaurant, so that is fantastic. I would stay away from drinking around the world in Epcot. That would get you gout attacks, so definitely don't do that. One tip that I definitely have with bringing things to the park in your hotel, but also in regards to eating, is this is my nephew's. So this is a kid version, but they have the bigger version. I have mine over at the counter. But bring these, especially one that have the clips. get one that have a clip like this. But basically, you would also bring a carabiner. If you have a stroller, what you can do is you can put the carabiner on the stroller and then clip, the water canteen onto the carabiner. There you go. You don't have to worry about it. Or just bring a carabiner on your backpack and clip it to your backpack. There you go. That's also another option. But you can go to any fast service place and basically ask for ice cold water. They'll give it to you for free. Sometimes it will be ice cold, sometimes with ice. Sometimes it will just be water with no ice. Doesn't really matter. As long as you have water, and then you can refill with ice over at the commissary or over at Connections. But that saved me a lot. It saved me a lot of money, but also it saved me from the temptation of buying Coke most of the time. So definitely bring that. That's going to be a lifesaver. But try to stay away from I forgot exactly the name, but it's over at, near the aquarium in Epcot where you can eat seafood. Try to stay away from the sushi in Japan. Try to stay away from, I definitely recommend going to California Grill and Le Cellier and stuff like that, but try to stay away from eating a ton of hamburger, beef in general and pork. Try to stay away from that. But you got to do your research, and that is what saved me during my trips to Disney World. And I'm going to talk about the very last thing. All right, so I'm going to talk about one very last thing. So a lot of people, I started a Facebook group for Gout well over 10 years ago, and it has over 2,500 people. If you guys want to join it, I'll put the link in the description. But there's a lot of questions about what kind of footwear should you wear if you go to a theme park, or just in general if you're exercising and whatnot. And I found two things that really helped me. So I brought 3 pairs of shoes, well, technically 4, 3 pairs of shoes that I would kind of retriculate throughout my trips. One pair that I use probably 90% of the time is my sandals. And I wear Sanuk sandals. They are so comfortable. And they are, it's like memory foam. And they're easy as flip-flops. Easy that I can slide my feet into, take them off or at the hotel, take them off if I'm sitting down over at a restaurant. Yeah, my feet aren't the prettiest, but hey, my feet can swell up quite a bit even without a gout attack, and I want my feet to breathe, and I want my feet to have less constriction. And if I'm not doing a heavy walking day, that's perfect. So if I'm going into, let's say, Animal Kingdom, or if I'm going into, let's say, Magic Kingdom, if it's super busy, or if I'm going into Hollywood Studios, I would definitely 100% not wear my sandals, because that's a lot of walking. And also on top of that, there's not a lot of places where you can sit, and just a lot of places where you can watch a show easily, or a sit down, attraction. So I would wear, I have Timberlands that I would, not the boots, but they're Timberland sneakers, and they have amazing cushion, padding, and it allows my feet to breathe. The only downside is putting my foot through the hole to put your foot in. I have big feet. I have size 13 feet, but I would wear those. I would wear my Sanuk sandals 90% of the time. And then my very last option would be, I have these slip-on Airwalk shoes, and I would wear those if I'm going to the park for only a few hours. And, I just didn't feel like wearing either one of those shoes. The one thing that I definitely don't recommend is wearing, if you're going to this is a one-off, but one night, me and my sister went to California Grill. You have to kind of dress up a little bit. So I wore these really nice slacks with the button-up shirt, and I wore these really nice dress shoes, really nice. And they're expensive and over $100, yada, yada. And so I'm wearing them, and they're super nice. We didn't have to go too far. Get to the point, we decide at the very end of the dinner to go into Magic Kingdom because we're right there. We go into Magic Kingdom, and I'm spending literally 2-3 hours in dress shoes walking all over Magic Kingdom. It was so uncomfortable, but I had the best time because it was like I'll explain it in another video, but it's a scenario that if I wasn't taking my time late at night, my feet would be horrible. Like, they definitely hurt by the end of the day, but it was probably one of the best experiences that I had. But I definitely don't recommend wearing dress shoes at any park. Try to either wear sandals, very comfortable sandals, or shoes that have really good padding. I hear that On Clouds are really nice, and also Dr. Scholl's are really nice as well for people that have gout. The one thing is, just remember, by the end of the day, your feet might be swollen, regardless if you have a gout attack or not. And if you have a gout attack, the last thing that you want to do is, fight to take off your shoes, where the shoes are like really constricted into the shoe. So the foot is really constricted into the shoe. So just be aware of that. There will be times where I would take off my shoe my Timberland shoes, and it would be so painful. So just be aware of that. That's the reason why I love wearing my sandals. Yes, my feet are not pretty, but they feel a lot better than they do in dress shoes or in shoes that barely have any padding or shoes that really constrict your feet. Please let me know what kind of videos you want to talk about. I really want to talk about gout and Walt Disney World and Anaheim and Disneyland, because people don't talk about it. And I have a lot of tips and tricks and a lot of experience with the parks and with gout attacks. So I want to let you guys know, because that could save you a lot of time and energy. So let me know what kind of videos you want to talk about, or me narrow down, even with other theme parks. Let me know. I can experience it for the first time and let you guys know, or talk about my experiences in general.